so. Oh my goodness. Your children can see you.
In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight, we also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
World, it is 10 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. It is a beautiful Monday night in Dominica. I know that my guests tonight loves and appreciates good music. So I know she's probably enjoying the music there of Enya, Storms in Africa. That is actually our theme music. And many persons always say, you know, sometimes for nights, even if you're taking a little time to start, I really just enjoy, you know, listening to the music. Here we are tonight for another In the Spotlight radio show. We thank you tonight, wherever you are, for joining us on the program. We know you have choices, but you always choose us. If you're on right now, then you've chosen us. And we thank you and appreciate you for that. Q95 FM, thank you for providing me with this platform to air this amazing program, a program that continues to motivate and inspire as we share the stories of our people. A program which emerged to some extent from the lack of recognition that my own father did not receive, the lack of recognition that he experienced, you know, for his contribution towards his community, to Dominica, to our societies. And so, you know, that was one of the reasons why this came to the fore. Many of you know the other part of that story, so just wanted to just mention my dad here tonight. I want to acknowledge Josephine Gabriel. We have water, so that's for, you know, for us to sip on while we go through the program. We do a lot of talking on here, so we need water all the time to ensure that we quench our thirst. I just want to acknowledge as well Jordan Jerome, GK, thank you for your support with my videos, appreciated. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. We have a Facebook page. We're also on Instagram. We also have a fans group by the In the Spotlight radio show. It's called the ITS Radio Show Fans Group. So you can go there and request to be a member of our group. We like welcoming new people. I use the opportunity here as well to remind you of my public page. It's actually for Dinah Fernanda Frampton. Please like and follow me. And also my normal page. I have quite a bit of friend requests. Hundreds at this time, but unfortunately I'm not able to accept more, as I always remind you. So you simply follow me and you get to see all what I'm up to. And I'm always up to something. Last week we had Monsignor William John Lewis. He sang for us. I wonder if Mrs. White will sing for us tonight. I love it when my guests sing or do poetry or play an instrument. You know, just sharing a bit of their talent with us. Very talented and lovely people we have in Dominica. That's why, you know, it's with joy that I come here, tired or not, sleepy or not. Once I'm able, I come here on a Monday night to do this in the Spotlight radio show, and I do it for you, the listeners of Q95 FM radio, for you, the viewers, via our social media platforms, especially via Facebook. We're live right now on the groups page, in the Spotlight page, as well as on my page. And I would like to encourage you to use any of the mediums that you want to view our program tonight. We have an amazing guest. When you talk about a public servant giving service to the public, if there was a face to that, it would be the face of my guest tonight. Her name is Jennifer White, and it is my pleasure indeed to have her in the spotlight tonight. I'll tell you a little secret for those of you who don't know. She's actually celebrating her birthday this week, and we'll do a little bit of celebrating with her as well. As far as I know, most of her immediate family are out of Dominica, so I am going to step up tonight to be her daughter, her son, her everything. Tonight on the program, Mrs. White, it is so nice and amazing pleasure to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you for Dinah. I am very happy to be here, and your spirit is giving me a little inspiration.
Oh, I love that.
So I hope that we can convey that to the people who are listening to us.
I really hope so. Yes, I want you to be comfortable. Let me just make sure that your mic is close enough for you, that you are comfortable enough. Does that work for you?
I should think so.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, yes, we're back. That happens sometimes. You have to, do certain things. All right, so Jennifer White is in the spotlight tonight. First of all, Mrs. White, let me say thank you to you for accepting to be on the program with me. I really do sincerely appreciate it. Interestingly, you called me to give me a little fire about something else, not me personally. Not me personally, but she called me to give me a fire about something else. And I said, Mrs. White, I've been meaning to make contact with you because I think I would love to have you on my program. She still gave me a little, a little rough up. Not too much, just a little. But then she did consent to being on the program, interestingly, because it is the month of the elderly. And although she doesn't look like an elder at all, this lady looks like a spring chicken, So she's somewhat representing that as well tonight on the program. Good evening to you again and welcome.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
It is my absolute pleasure. I'm going to give you the opportunity to say good evening to anyone in particular, including of course the wider audience that you would like to.
Well, I'd like to say good evening, first of all, to my family. I wish they were here with me, my immediate family. Then my extended family, my relatives, friends, and acquaintances. And also good evening to all the listeners of Q95 and listeners to this particular program. Good evening to all of you.
Mm-hmm. You hear the English? Proper English, I have to watch myself tonight,
Don't worry, I can do all of it.
I know that.
English part of the colloquial.
Tout bagay.
Tout bagay.
Tout bebe di bonsoir then.
Bonsoir, no bonsoir, Part is bonsoir.
Patois is bonsoir.
Bonsoir tout le monde.
Is bonsoir French.
Bonsoir is French.
French.
Which I did study, but our patois or Creole, bonsoir. Bonsoir tout le monde. Et puis, moi, vle tout côté, ça qui l'éducation, ça l'éducation, si Fadaina fait l'éducation, et puis, moi qui réponds, ça répond. Mais moi content. Moisio Swela.
Ah, bom, moi sa, si Felix ka kute che that ka smile, tu sa, eh?
He's my
Yes.
friend.
He's your friend.
Yes.
All right. So, it is a special night for many reasons. Just you being here and agreeing to speak with us, I think is going to be an amazing thing for everyone who's listening and viewing the program. When I read your biography, your information, you know, I was really taken aback by the contribution that you, this beautiful lady sitting here, has made to this country that we all love so dearly. But let us begin by you telling us a bit more about your roots, your generation, génération, la sorti à nous parler.
Oh, I am from Roseau. In fact, I was born in the Roseau Hospital, where the present government headquarters now stands. And I was raised at 10A Queen Mary Street. This is the site where Pastor Rodney has his church. This exact spot.
Oh.
This is where our house was. It was in a yard setting, but we were in a yard within a yard because we had a fence around our house, which is a standalone house, and there were houses outside of the fence. Most of them were the type of what you might call estate houses, where there would be a 4-room house and families would occupy each one. So there were several of them around us, but we were on a standalone plot right there, 10A Queen Mary Street, which is now Independence Street, I think. And then, of course, Pastor Rodney has taken over.
He has indeed. They were actually quite happy to see you here this evening on their way out from the radio. So let us understand. So you came from Roseau, grew up in Roseau. Yes. So
Yes.
tell me now about Mama, Papa, family.
Well, Mama, my mother was Lucy Grell. She used to be Lucy John before. Many people must have known her at the Roseau Market, where she had a shop. She was born in Laplane, so she's from Laplane. My grandmother and grandfather are both from Laplane, and when my mother was 10 months old, they were brought to town. I'm saying brought to town because my grandfather was a cantor in the church at Laplane. And when in Roseau, the cantor, something happened. Either he passed or was unable to perform. The Roseau church asked him to come down with his family. There were 6 children. My mother was the last of the 6, and his wife, and they were brought down to sing, or what they call canto in the Catholic Church. They used to have like the Psalms and so on, which everybody
Yes, I
does
was about to
nowadays.
ask you, what is the canto?
Yes, there's a singer who would do solos, like for the Psalms, and there used to be, when people died, they had a thing singing Libi Rami. It's a sort of a deaf song and so on. So he was brought into town by the church to do that. So that's how they reached Roseau. And a couple of them passed away soon after that. I didn't know. Like one of my uncle Robert, I never knew him. He died before I was born. My grandfather died before I was born. But in that house, there were 6 of us, 6 females.
All girls.
My grandmother, my mother, and then 4 girls. Now, those 4 girls were 2 sisters and 2 sisters. But we were brought up in such a way.
Explain that.
I'll explain. We were brought up in such a way that even we ourselves hardly knew the difference, because we were brought up as 4 sisters. I have 1 biological sister, and then the other 2 I'm telling you about, they are my cousins. Their mother went away to Curacao, of course, you know, at those times, to get a better life for themselves and for their family. And so I'm going to call their names, Jermaine and Connie, was staying with us, and Lauren, my big sister, and myself. 4 of us, we were brought up as 4 siblings, and up to this day, we are as tight can be.
Oh my, and everybody's still alive?
Everybody's still alive. They're all 3 of them in Canada, and I am the one here, but of course I'm always up there, and they're always down here as well. So we have been very, very close, and with my mother, who worked out, and my grandmother took care of us by cooking and so on. But we always had a helper to help with the housework and cleaning and so. But my grandmother did the cooking, and my mother went out to work. She used to work at a place called Peanuts Shop. There is a lady called Viola, I think, who has a shop there now, close to the Royal Bank. There's a shop there, a lady who gets things from Guadeloupe.
I know that
that location.
Yes,
right.
yes.
The Peanuts had a shop there, and my mother worked there for several years before moving on to the marketing board and then being a proprietor herself later on.
What was that kind of living arrangement? What was that like?
Oh boy, that is the greatest. Because we did almost everything together. Well, the 4 of us, there was that system before where the eldest was highly respected, and up to today I respect my sister very highly. She was the eldest of the lot. Eldest 3 years, you know, but at that time 3 years seemed to be a lot. So we had a sort of respect for her, and then the 2 middle ones, as Jermaine and myself, we were the terrors. We couldn't be apart for any length of time up to this very day.
Wow.
Those who know us can tell you. I'll give you some a little story later. But
Yes,
anyway,
no problem.
we were very close. In fact, when I go to Canada, although I have my son in Toronto and my sister in Toronto, I live with Jermaine. That's to show you how close we are.
Yes.
So that's the 2 of us. And then Connie is the youngest. And we always had her like a baby. You know, she was a baby, so all of us kind of protected her. But she was only 3 years away from us. But when you are a child, the number of years really doesn't matter. It's just a seniority business. And sometimes we didn't like it, but it happened. In fact, we used to wear the same clothes, same types of style, made with the same cloth and everything for years, until my sister got, maybe we're not even too sure, but she got to be a teenager. So they used to give her a different dress from us. So Jermaine, Connie and myself, we had one type of dress, and she had a little high heel and her other fancy clothes. So that put her apart from us. Another way she was put apart from us in a way was my grandmother, as I said, she cooked, but the food was shared according to age too. So my sister got more food than the others. So as you went down the line, you got less and less. So many a time we tried to see if we could snatch a little bit from her plate, you know, without my grandmother knowing. Lauren, that's what happened, but anyway. But it was all in good spirits. But I appreciate the way my mother brought us up. There was no difference among us. In fact, it came to a point where everybody now knows my mother as Tanti, because she did not want the distinction that Lauren and myself would call her. Either at that time you were calling my grandmother Mama, so probably you'd call her Mommy or some such thing. But to avoid that kind of distinction, everybody called her Tanti. And all my friends and even acquaintances, neighbors came to know her as Tanti. But that was the primary reason. So there was no distinction, as I said, among us.
No discrimination.
No discrimination. And we lived as such, and we grew up And I hope I have transmitted that to my own children to be close to each other. And that's how it was.
Tell me more about your mom.
Well, my mom, well, I can say she's one of the greatest human beings ever, because she has been there for me and my family and my sisters as well, in the best of times and in the worst of times. And I can say it, and I'm glad the world is there to hear. Were it not for my mother, I would not be alive today.
What do you mean by that?
Because she saved me from myself and from others. Well, they say you have to say tragedies. I said I already say something. Although I wouldn't call it tragedy, but there are ups and downs in life. So in times when I was down, she was the one who was there to pick me up. And
Somebody might say that that's the role of a mother anyway. What was different in terms of, you know?
Well, while one might say it's the role of a mother, not all mothers do that. And not all mothers will go out on a limb. She did all she could to make sure that I succeeded in life. And one of the ways in which she did that was that I, as you know, well, I haven't said that yet, but I have 4 children. They are listening right now, I'm sure.
Or viewing.
Yes. And those who know me know them, and Lisa, Leslie, Stevie, and Corey. The 2 girls, they are twins, Lisa and Leslie, they live in Boston. And the 2 boys, Stevie and Corey, they live in Canada.
I understand there's one who's very patriotic.
Oh, that's Lisa. She's called the flag lady. Because everywhere she goes, she represents Dominica with the national flag. She has earrings, chains, head, everything you can think of, umbrella made out of the flag material. But that's another story. But she loves Dominica and she represents wherever she goes. That's Lisa. Leslie, her twin, is a quieter person, but she is just as patriotic. They are American citizens because they were born in St. Thomas. So, having gone to the States and living in Boston, Leslie lives in Framingham. That's a town about an hour away from Boston. But she's a big politician. She is on the school board, she is on the council, she ran 3 marathons already. The last one she did with her daughter, and she's on the marathon committee. So she is highly political, not party political per se, but she takes. But many people don't know her because she is not as outgoing, let's say, but she's playing her part. So these are the twins. They are in the US.
And the 2 others?
The
Before
boys,
we go back to Mama, we were talking about Mama, yes.
The boys are in Canada. One of them is in a place which might seem strange to some people, but it's called Nunavut. It's in the Northwest Territories as one of the last places in Canada that was made into a province, Nunavut. And below 0 most of the time. And it is where the native Indians, the native First Nations, they call them, that they live among the First Nations. They live and work among the First Nations. But they have been there for about 15 years or so they're used to it. The son went to school, the children are going to school and everything, so they are settled there. So that's one.
Interesting.
And my youngest child, he's Colin White. He lives in Toronto with his wife and children and doing relatively well, I must say.
You speak so proudly of your children.
Well,
you
they have made me proud.
Smile on your face.
They have made me proud because they have all grown into responsible citizens, and more than that, children who enjoy life. They enjoy life and they still try to keep their spiritual life intact. So they kind of have a balance in their lives, which I admire very much. And well, I love them to to infinity.
I can
And
tell.
also my grands and great grands, you know. I have 4 children. I have 7 grands and 2 great grands.
Okay. Did you pattern your life with your children or for your children based on what? We're going back to your
Yes,
mom.
back to mom.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes, because my mother has, she has other sisters, had other sisters and brothers, but she was very close with 2 of my aunts. One of them just passed, but my other aunt is still alive, Lucille Riley at Goodway. And these 3 people are like 3 musketeers. One helps the other, they look out for the other, and so on. So I got this kind of family closeness from them. The way they behave, I try to pattern the closeness of my family and then pass it on to my own children and keep reminding them that they must stay close as well. And so far, praise God, they are keeping close.
So, you spoke to us a bit about your mom. Can you tell us some of the things, that some of the guidelines, some of the things that your mother taught you as a young girl, you know, growing up? Jennifer, you should do this. Jennifer, this is what the world is going to be like. This is what to expect. What are some of the things that your mother taught you as a young girl?
All right. My mother was a very, I would call her a conservative person. But she could give a joke when the time came. And she made sure that we all went to school, that we all went to church, that we all had a social life that was wholesome. In that, for school example and school-related matters, we did a lot of reading at home. All of us, we are avid readers.
Okay.
Because we were encouraged to go to the library so that we could get books to read. In those days, people didn't really buy books as such, or we didn't have libraries at home. But the norm was for children, there was a children's section at the library. And every Saturday, we were encouraged to go there and get books. Well, we had our little clique. When the new books came out, we would take books and exchange with each other to make sure that we read the whole series. If my friends remember, Enid Blyton series, the Nordy series.
Those who are around from way back
Yes,
there?
the Nordy series, the Adventure series, Famous Five, Secret Seven. So as we grew older and older, the habit stayed with us to do a lot of reading. So that is one thing. Another thing, a lot of singing took place at home. My mother has a great voice. Her register is remarkable. She could take the highest note and then go down to the lowest note. And she used to make us laugh a lot because she used to sing like a man sometimes. And so we always had a good laugh. So she was a fun person in that regard. And we used to have like little concerts among ourselves. She would teach us songs from her school days and so on. And she taught us about singing. There's a thing they call, Pearl might be able to explain.
She's watching.
Hi Pearl. A solfa. They used to call it solfa. It means she could sing a song with the music notes, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. She'd be able to sing the song using the right notes. They learned that in school, and then she learned it from her father. So she would sing a song first. Let's say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la. So she would sing a song, let's say a hymn from the church. God of mercy and compassion. She would sing the notes to that song for us. She was that good. I myself, I sing, but I'm not, I don't know music per se. I just did very, very basic.
Okay.
But she could do that. And then she would make us laugh, as I said, you know, by giving us stories and so on. So
the
that
singing came from mommy.
Yes. The church business also, you couldn't miss church. And for that matter, if I can boast a bit, we never lacked for anything. And as far as church clothes, all kinds of clothes. We had, in fact, there were 3 categories of clothes at that time: church clothes, school clothes, and then home clothes, or yard clothes they would call it. So we always had these 3 categories of clothes. Beautiful dresses we used to have made from material sent by German's mother, I told you, was in Curacao. So at that time she would send some beautiful material, and my mother would get them made by Mrs. Clarendon, that is Dr. Polydor's mother. She was our seamstress and our neighbor. And let me tell you, every feast, like Easter, Christmas, or it is the first coming out ever, the neighbors would come out and stand by our gate
just to
and
see,
wait to look at us, the 4 children,
oh,
going to us. So we had our ribbons in our hair, we had our purses and shoes and socks and everything to match. And my disciple would be there waiting to see us. I remember that clearly, to see us go to mass.
and you all look
So
lovely,
we
well put
always
together.
well put together. And my mother was like that too. She was well put. She could dress, well coordinated, and she was a beautiful person too, and nice body and everything. So when she put something on her man, oh my God, she was great. Oh boy. Beautiful, really and truly.
What about Dad? What about Dad?
Well, my father, I must say, he was not around the scene for long.
Okay.
The only thing I remember of him...
But he was the reason why you all came to town.
No, my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
But my own father.
Okay. Yes.
He was not in the scene. The only thing I remember about him was that he had a car. And I used to get a ride in it at some point as a child. And in fact, I have a picture. The only picture I have of him is of him leaning on that car. Okay. So that's... And throughout my years, up to about 26, I didn't know him at all.
You didn't interact?
I didn't know interaction. And he was in Dominica, eh? Well, whatever the reason my mother had for not allowing us to get together, that's according to the big people business. So I never knew.
And you never made an attempt yourself?
No, because I didn't miss a father.
I see.
My mother was mother and father. I didn't miss having a father because I didn't lack for anything. My friends had fathers, and some of them would be around, some wouldn't be around at that time, so it wasn't an issue, at least not for me. It wasn't an issue for me. So I never even asked about him or anything, but when I did get to know him, he's a friend of mine. When I told him who my father was, but I know this man, I know him, I'm not going to call this name here. I know him, and my family is friendly with my family and so on. So if you want to know him, I can take you there. I didn't tell my mother anything.
You go behind your mother back?
Not really. I was a grown up already.
Okay.
So I was on my own home and everything, so there was no question. So I just didn't tell her. And I went to meet him and my child. This man welcomed me with open arms. He couldn't have enough of me. My children were already there. When he met my children, he wanted to have them with him, holiday time, all kind of business like that. And you know, he said to me that he had been following my life. He knew where I had worked, he knew where I traveled, he knew almost everything about me, and yet there had been no contact. My sister and they don't know that, you know, they hear that for the first time.
You joking?
Yep.
Look at you, make me shiver.
But he was very nice, and he and his wife, they were very good to us, very nice with children and so on.
Did you maintain the relationship?
Well, yes, until he passed away. He passed away in 1984. I went to the funeral and everything until he passed. Yes. But then after that, there was no further connection.
So there was nothing to forgive per se. It's just that you You knew there was something on their level, the parents' level,
And
that you refused to get involved in.
indeed, and in fact, that was the pattern at the time. What your parents' relationship, or not parents so much, adult relationships did not really influence much what the children did. Because even at the neighbor level, there were some adults who, let's put it in our own terms, were not speaking to each other or were vexed with each other. Dominicans know that phrase. But even if they were vexed, their children were never involved. Their children were not vexed. The children could go from home to home and be free, and nobody would be feeling resentment or anything. It was something set apart. Parents' business and children's business were kept apart. And I'm happy for that because I have some very good friends
Good.
as a result,
Good.
you know, of that kind of thinking.
What did your mommy do for a living?
My mother, as I said, she worked at the peanut
The
store
peanut,
for several
yes.
years. After that, she worked at the marketing board, what is now called Dexia. She worked there for several years, and then when Dexia was closed, it was closed down by the government, she got a shop in the market and did very well for herself. Very, very, very well. She was able to buy a house and everything as a result of her going on her own. And in fact, I think she was the first person who started selling fertilizer in small packages. Because before, when farmers and so wanted fertilizer and animal feed, they would have to buy a whole bag. And of course, many people couldn't afford that. So she decided to put it in smaller packages, 10 pound, 5 pound, and so on, and sell accordingly. So she really had a good clientele. The people from the country, and so they were able to come and, you know, buy the stuff. And she used to give a lot of credit and so on, you know, nice to people. So she really had a lot of clients, and she did very well for herself.
But what happened to the shop eventually?
Well, she got sick. She got sick, and then she was at home. She got a stroke. Stayed sick for 3 years, and then she passed in 2001.
Okay, all right. It's quite interesting learning about your family, especially your mother, and the way that you grew up with, you know, two siblings who were not biological siblings, but you know, you all grew up as that to the point where mom was called auntie by everybody, tanti, right,
yes.
by everybody, so the others wouldn't feel like, you know, out of place or anything like that. And I think, you know, things are so different back then,
Yes.
you know, than they are today. I think we've become such a selfish society that I don't think we would learn to appreciate the things that I hear about on this program that happened in the 50s and the 60s and so on. Things are so very different these days.
I cannot tell my last story without bringing in my stepfather. I did have a stepfather. I was about 13, 14. That's when we moved from Pastor Rodney's place to Goodwill. We went to Canal Lane in Goodwill. My mother was married, and she went with her husband, and she took 2 of us with her, the two siblings with her. And by that time, the other aunt in Curacao came down, so the other 2 siblings were able to go with their mother, and Lauren and myself, we went with our mother. And that stepfather was Alan Grell. Many people know him. He was well known. He used to be a supervisor in the market, the Roseau, what they used to call a meat market. I know what they call it now, meat market and fish market. But he used to be a supervisor there. And then he got to work at Public Works. So he was part of the road supervisory system. But he was very good to me. He was a good stepfather, always there for me. And many a time I had to have a loan sign or a bond sign, and he would step in. And generally he was nice to my children. He would take them out to the sea, he would take them out on drives. And also he had a car. He would take me to school when he was in town, because he had to be working on the road often. But whenever he was in town, he would drop me off at school and whatnot. He was very, very good to me. And I hear some horror stories about stepfathers, but I want to bring that one forward as a very, very good example.
And the way you speak of him, it says to me that he was also very good to your mother.
Well, he had his big feelings.
He's a man.
He's a man. And I mean, well, he had some feelings, indeed. But as far as our relationship went, and this is my story, he was very, very good to me and my children. Till he died in 03. My mother died in 01, he died in 2003. Very good to me.
When we speak to persons like yourself, who comes from the earlier years, 60s, 50s even, we love hearing about the childhood days growing up and the school days and the times when there were no video games and no cell phones and no television. Let's talk about those years.
I think we had the best of childhood days.
You think?
Yes. Because we lived close to Botanic Gardens. And people who know the area, that's a stone's throw away from Botanic Gardens. We lived close enough, walking distance, to the sea at Newtown. That is close to the Newtown Savannah. We lived close to the Roseau River called Underpower. I don't know if you know that area. It's a place where, close to the Bathurst Bridge, there's a huge, what we call a bassin. And we were able to jump from the wall and into the water and so on. And in fact, at that time, people used to wash in the Roseau River. My grandmother used to go to the river to wash. And so we would find ourselves there sometimes, other neighbors too, and all the children in the area. So, like summertime, all our days we spent out of doors. We go to that Roseau River, or we go to the sea, or we go to the gardens. The thing with the gardens is very peculiar, or maybe I say ironical, because we used to go to the gardens to do what they call raid. The gardens, there were lots of trees, citrus trees, oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, and so on. Mangoes, any fruit, you name it, they had it at the, what they call at the back of the gardens. That is behind the office buildings. And as children, we would try to go and get some of those fruits and so on. Well, that was not allowed because I think they were grown for experimental purposes, but we didn't know about that. We just figured there was fruit there for the taking. So many people, of the young people at the time from Newtown, from Bath Road, and from our area, so we saw at the back of the gardens, raid, we got some nice fruits, and then we'd go and eat them. Now we were kind of breaking the law, you know, because we were not supposed to, but at that time, we were quite innocent, and things were done in a childlike way. But the ironical thing of this is that much later in my life, I was a PS in agriculture, acting PS in agriculture, and in charge of these very gardens where I used to read. And many of the people who used to read with me, they were employees in that same ministry, and we all worked together. So you see, although we did those things, in the end we grew up, and then we matured, and we had a good time.
We had a good time,
So,
good old days.
Good old days. So we spent our summers, as I said, in the gardens, and we'll go to the Newtown Sea to bathe, go to Underpower to bathe. Sometimes we used to walk to Rockaway. You know where Rockaway is?
Yes.
No, right. We used to walk down there to go to the sea.
Walk all the way to
Yes,
Rockaway.
man, to go to the sea and then to get the guavas and seaside grapes and plums and all that. And we'd fill ourselves with those fruits, such that when we got home, we couldn't eat our meals. And we were quite happy about it. We had a lovely chat. We played a lot. We played cricket. We played, the boys played football, the boys of the area. We played cricket with a lime and coconut bats. And we had our wickets and everything. And we had our own special games playing. We played hopscotch. We played what they call nuts. What the young people would call jacks. We used cashew nuts, and we had games with that. We did lots of stuff. We always busy, always busy.
Always busy.
Ring games, hopscotch, you name it. We went skipping. And that's what we did during the summers, enjoying life in the hot sun.
Before we skip over to the other part of the program where we'll talk about education and work life and public service and all of that, I just want to ask you one more thing. Were you married?
Yes.
You were married.
I was married, and all my children are fruits of my marriage.
Fruits of your marriage.
Yes.
Okay, your husband.
My marriage didn't last long, but it's a kind of a checkerboard situation. It didn't last long, but my children, I was more or less a single parent, I would say.
Okay.
Because when my husband went away to study, we never got back together.
Okay.
And then...
But how old were you at that time?
By the time I was 23, I had 4 children already. All my children. And they were like 3 years. So in 3 years I had 4 children because I had twins.
When you told me that earlier, I looked at you like, what? And then of course.
I had the twins. Then the year after I had my one son. I skipped a year, and the year after I had the other son. But so by the time I was 23, I had my 4 children. And the thing is that I had all 4 of them. I had 4 cradles in a room once upon a time. Because they were young, so close. 4 cradles. But I must say again, my mother was the one who saved my life. She managed to help me, and I always had like domestic help and so on.
All right.
So that's it.
That's it. Here we are. (8:56) is the time in our studios. This is Q95. The program is the In the Spotlight radio show. The guest, Mrs. Jennifer White. We spent quite a bit of time just talking about her and growing up and, you know, life and family and all of that good stuff. But guess what? This lovely lady is celebrating a milestone on Wednesday. Now, at this time, as we said earlier on, most of her immediate family, they're out of Dominica. And you would actually be gone at this time, wouldn't you?
Wait for COVID.
Mr. COVID.
Madam or Mr. COVID, whatever the sex. I would have been in Canada.
You would have been in Canada.
Or the States, in North America, let's see.
Okay. All right, fair enough. So you would not have been celebrating your birthday here in Dominica. So I just want to take a little moment and just celebrate with you a little, if you don't mind. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
What is this?
It's a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so Mrs. White, we ran a poll on Facebook asking people, you know, what is the milestone age that they think that you're celebrating on Wednesday, and we gave them the option of, I think, 65, 70, 75 and 80. What is the milestone birthday that you're celebrating on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, with God's grace, I will be 75.
75, oh my goodness, that is definitely a milestone age. Definitely a milestone.
3/4 of a century.
Right, so because, you know, I know that you're not with your family, I I wanted that when you came on the program tonight, I really wanted to do something special for you. And I have quite a bit of friends, very, very good friends, and business partners who have all come together and provided me with some gifts. So permit me to go through them one by one. Your first gift is a 1 hour body massage from Body Bliss Spa. They have 2 locations, Roseau and the Picard, and they offer massages, waxing, nail services, facials, body treatments, and threading. They're open Mondays through Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have gift certificates available. Their telephone number is 245-4909. I actually went there recently to get a microdermabrasion facial and a massage, which was also a gift certificate provided to me. And I just mentioned to her that I was going to be having you on the program. And she said, I will offer you a 1 hour body massage, and that is from Body Bliss Spa. So this is your certificate from Body Bliss Spa. You can show it, you can open it up and show it to those who are viewing. So just open it up.
I am
overwhelmed.
Right. The last thing on my mind,
yes.
I was coming to talk to you.
Yes, don't worry about that.
I am very thankful.
You can show it to them. Just lift it up a little, right? So that's from Body Bliss Spa. So
I want to thank them very, very much for this wonderful gift and for him thinking about it.
Yes, yes.
That was.
Let's get going.
My...
So can you take this bottle right there? Take this bottle right there. Take it out from the bag.
Lord,
yeah, just pull it out. Turn it around.
In trouble. Oh, what a beautiful surprise!
Yes. So turn it a little so they can see. It's personalized. It's a personalized bottle of wine. The wine was provided by Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. You can turn it a little more so they can see. Yes. And Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, they are the distributors for Barefoot Wine in Dominica, and the wine is available at all supermarkets island-wide. Consumers can choose from an assortment of 10 flavors, sweet, medium, or dry, at a very affordable price. Get barefoot and have a good time. The personalization, however, was done by Deepex. Wow. And yes, so let me just give Deepex some credit right here.
Please.
So get your personalized gifts done at Deepex. I still have more coming. Bring a bottle of wine, champagne, or your friend or partner's favorite drink and have it personalized with a photo and special message from you. Mugs, snow globes, clocks, keychains, t-shirts, plaques, and many other items to choose from and personalize for that special person and special occasion, and have them delivered to the office, workplace, or home. Put a genuine smile on someone's face from your heart. So thank you, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, and thank you, Deepex. Now I brought...
thank you very much indeed. Let me just give my own thanks to Josephine Gabriel and Company and Deepex. I appreciate it very, very much.
And I'm the photographer.
Okay. Thank you for the photograph.
Right. No, there is a beautiful box right there. I wanted to put it closer to you. This box right here.
I don't know what Fadina is doing.
No, I just wanted you to have a beautiful birthday, seeing that you're not able to have it, spend it with your family. It is called a charcuterie box, right? And it is someone who is a big fan of this program sponsored $100 for a gift for you, right?
Oh my goodness.
So I called this young lady Ashma, because I know she's doing this new thing called Grace by Ash, and I said to her, listen, I have $100 that somebody contributed as a gift to Mrs. White. I need one of your boxes. What can you do for me? She says, here's what I'll do for you, Fadina. I'll give you a $200 value.
Oh my goodness.
And this, they are very kind and very generous. If you look in there, you'll see cheeses, you'll see all kinds of things. So let me just share a little bit about Grace by Ash. It is a creative food styling company that I hope they can see it. They can, yes.
Oh my goodness.
That specializes in charcuterie boxes that includes meat types, cheeses, fruits, nuts, and other accompaniments. and we pair the items to enhance flavors with each bite. We recently introduced a sweet treats edition based on feedback from clients, which includes cupcake toppers, chocolate covered strawberries, donuts, cakesicles, cake pops, cake heart molds, chocolate covered pretzels, and we have introductory products being released in the next 2 weeks. Additionally, Graced by Ash specializes in brunches. When we say Graced by, the definition also speaks to snacking. So they cater for a variety of unique hors d'oeuvres and use a creative food styling technique to enhance and display an experience. They have an event coming up on November 1st. It's an all-white Independence brunch, so that's something to look out for. Their business is located at St. James Guest House, Goodwill, Roseau, and they are also on social media platforms, Graced by Ash. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, or contact them on 235-8287. So this is your gift from Grace.
Some things mark happy 75th.
Yes,
in
correct.
The box. Oh,
correct.
this is wonderful. And I know the location very
Yes.
well.
Oh, you do?
Because it's close to where I used to live at Goodwill.
Awesomeness. So this
I
is this.
will try to give them thanks personally.
Awesomeness.
Thank you very, very much indeed.
This is another box over there. You can rest this one. Yes, you can rest it there. Don't let it distract you too much. Don't worry, folks.
No,
We're coming back to the talking in just a while. I really just wanted to let this lady have a beautiful birthday when it comes to in the absence of being with her family. This one is from Leandra Lander of Lovely Things.
Leandra, my
yes, girl. Leandra Lander, and she's the CEO of, you can open it up if you wish. She's the CEO of Lovely Things, specializes in personalized glasses, cups, mugs, pillows, light up letters, and wedding items. You can contact her on 265-8483. That's 265-8483. Or email lovelythings@gmail.com. Alright, so
well, Leandra, I know personally. She's a person I admire very much too, and I am so happy that she remembered me.
Yes.
And she's participating in this.
yes, definitely.
God bless. I'm trying to open that
It's
box.
giving you a little trouble to
because
open.
it's sealed.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I got it open now.
So there's a few things in there. And I just want to mention that the pouch was made by Chrisline's Touch and personalized. The pouch.
Oh.
Yes, was made by
This
Chrisline's
is the pouch.
Touch. Yes.
Beautiful, and the colors, vibrant colors.
And personalized by Lovely Things. Right?
My name is only Jess.
Yes.
Oh,
and your glass is in there. Yes.
Boy, am I lucky. Am I blessed.
And you know, these people were just amazing. I did not even have to ask twice or ask too long. You know, people were just so willing to do all of this, and I'm so, yes.
Oh, and this is Jennifer Noun, Queen Mom, Grandmom, leader, singer, friend, a blessing.
Yes.
Thank you, Leandra. I appreciate that so much.
Thank
God
you.
bless
Thank
you.
you. Support
all
love.
those who gave me gifts.
There's
God
more.
bless you.
There's more.
Oh.
So just look at this one. My good friend Karim Geist, Atlantic Farms. Atlantic Farms Inc.
$100 gift voucher.
That's correct, for some vegetables and
that I like.
Thank you so much, Karim. Thank you. So let me just tell you a little bit about Atlantic Farms. Atlantic Farms Inc. is a business operating in the agriculture and food sector. Atlantic Farms produces organic vegetables and fresh local chicken. Their products can be found on the shelves of the more popular supermarkets in the city of Roseau. Their products are always fresh.
Thank you so much.
The final gift I have for you tonight is from a young man who has just launched his business called Prime Wagon. And Prime Wagon is a luxury limo.
Oh.
So Prime Wagon is offering you a free ride to wherever you want to go in the limo. And in addition to that, He went as far as getting you a dinner for two.
Oh my
and-
goodness. Oh no. Who are these people?
My friends.
These good people.
These are my friends. My
Oh,
friends.
There are no words.
These are my
Thank you.
friends.
That's
These are
all
my
there is.
friends.
The
So
dictionary
this is
doesn't
for
give us
you.
many words
Yes.
to express thanks.
Yes. Yes.
But I am very grateful, appreciative, and I will try to get to know whoever the manager is so that I can thank him personally.
Yes.
And thank you so much for
You're
accessing
welcome.
those gifts.
I did. It
Very,
was.
very thoughtful and sensitive, you know.
I will tell you
of
what.
you.
It was not difficult. All it took is probably a WhatsApp message, a call. I'm doing this, and everybody just agreed. And I can tell you, if I had probably approached more persons, I would have gotten more things.
Then I will be able to carry it.
No.
Thank you so
I
much
have
to all those who gave me those gifts. I'll try to get back to you personally.
All right, so let me just again say thank you to Body Bliss Spa, to Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, to Deepex, to Graced by Ash, to Lovely Things, to Atlantic Farm, and to Prime Wagon. So I will be posting some of their information on my in the group. So I hope that persons will give them some support for the support that they
I
have
hope
given
so
to us
too.
tonight. There is one person in particular, she insists on being anonymous. I will leave it at that, but she's a good friend and she's a big fan of the program, and she was the one who contributed the $100 to get you something, and I went with that box from Glazed by Ash. I really do hope that you enjoy it.
I can see it.
Yes.
There are things in it that I like.
Ah.
I see ham, I see cheese. Yes,
Awesome.
I enjoy it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, allow you to have a sip of water,
Okay.
and then we'll continue the program in just a while.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks again to all the gift givers.
No, we're not.
We're all.
We are still on.
Are we?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yes.
cannot break it.
You all
I
have
can't-
to take a sip of water.
You can take a sip of water, that's
Well,
okay.
I don't mind, but I will do the Tuapito, which I buy myself.
Ah, okay, good. There you go. Oh, people are so happy about this.
Thanks for all those that are happy for me.
Yes, I really wanted to do that for you. No question about
Really
it.
extra
From the
special.
time you told me you're going to be 75 on Wednesday, I was like, no, Ferdinand, let's get going. Let's get going. We need to get her. I just wanted you to feel, because I know you're not with your family, So I really just wanted you to, even if you don't do anything per se on Wednesday, but at least,
I will do this.
Alright.
That's one of the things we on again. I just want to say that I celebrate every birthday,
Every birthday.
no matter where or when or how. And my children like to celebrate every birthday, even when I didn't have any money.
You celebrate.
We buy biscuits and jam, and we play games, pin the tail on the donkey, and everybody went home for sweets or something like that. But every birthday we celebrate. Oh, and for the tune, happy birthday.
FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. in the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominican life, spotlighting their triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations, untold stories, touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
And we are back. We had our sip of water and we're good to go. 9:13 is the time. We have quite a bit to talk about, but I have to read something that just came to my WhatsApp. And it says, hello Fedina, I just want to say, Jen is no ordinary Dominican. She's a national gem. As a little girl growing up in Goodwill, we all just admired her. From watching her in her convent uniform to later stepping out as a CHS teacher and then coming back home into motherhood and introducing us to the biggest prom we ever seen as children when she came back from home with Lisa and Leslie. I feel people probably meant prom.
Pram.
Pram.
A stroller.
Oh, okay. Jen had the utmost confidence in us as children and young ladies, helping us to grow into some confident Dominican women. Everything she was involved in, she made sure she rounded us up and put us right there with her. From Little Bo Peep in concerts to majorettes to youth choir members and even Sifle Mutai singers during Dominica's independence 1978. Even when we couldn't sing, she made us believe we were larks and could do anything. She just gave us opportunities to shine like stars. May God continue to bless her, and may she have 75 more birthdays to come, coming to her from Boston with lots of love. So I suspect you know. Is this Hermia's sister? Yes.
Oh, Yolanda.
Yolanda.
Yes,
There
Yolanda.
you go.
Okay, I just said Boston.
There you go.
Oh, after that, Yu, we call her Yu.
Yes.
Very good family friend, her mother, Helen, and then Hermia. My family friend.
Hermia is somebody who loves me to death. She's such a wonderful lady.
Person.
Yes, this lady, when I was working at DBS Radio, I always mention it ever so often. Early in the mornings, 5 o'clock, Hermia would go walking and Hermia would religiously pass in the market and buy me a coconut jelly and bring it for me at the studio. Hermia.
Yes. Family.
We have stolen some time to do our little birthday thingy, so we need to continue. So we're going to continue now with the talk, and we started talking a bit about education and schooling. So let's talk a bit about that, and you can go all the way to the masters on the education level.
Okay, well, there was no kind of preschool at that time, so I started at what was then the convent primary school, which has evolved into the St. Martin's School. At the age of 4, I entered that school and I went up to what they now call the common entrance class. And we sat what they call scholarship, what they call common entrance, was a scholarship program. Now, I again influence of my mother and my older siblings, where I call all of them siblings. My sister got a scholarship, and that was a time when there were 10 scholarships given for the island, 5 girls and 5 boys. So the first 5 girls got, and then even if there were other girls in between, they didn't get anything. The boys got 5. So my sister got a scholarship, then Jermaine, the second one, got a scholarship. So when it was my time, I couldn't let down the side. So I sat. But they got government scholarships. I didn't get through to get a government scholarship.
Okay.
But fortunately, because I was in a Rosa school, Elizabeth Alfred and myself, we came 6th and 7th, and then the boys came after us. We couldn't get. So, being from Roseau, the Roseau Town Board at the time, which is now the City Council, they offered us scholarships. So I ended up getting a scholarship, which actually turned out to be even a better one than the government scholarship, because the government people, they had to get second-hand books and books that handed down from one person to another. But with Elizabeth and myself, we had to go to Campbell Phillips and we got new books, new pens, new everything. And then they paid everything up to my last exam, which was high school exam in Convent High School. So it was a very, very, very good scholarship. But I have to, you have to boast a little bit because you say triumphs. One of my triumphs is that I don't remember, they call it coming out first, second, and third. You know, every term they had to call out the children who were first in the classes. And I don't remember coming below 3. So my name had been called, as far as I remember, every term, either first, second, or third, from the time I started primary school up to when I graduated in high school, Convent High School. I was always top. And another thing, they used to give medals. I almost every week I got a medal for either application or diligence, not for conduct. Not that I was badly behaved, but conduct was so quietish, people I was not quiet. But for diligence or application, I would invariably, and best of all, I used to get a prize at the end of every school year in my recollection, from primary school till I graduated from high school. I was blessed, I would say. People used to say I was slack, that's what they say, but I was very successful in my academic years throughout my career too, but we are speaking about primary and secondary. And I used to make, my mother used to be so proud, and I think I used to do it more perhaps for her sake than for mine, to make her proud. I used to study hard, I used to read a lot, I did my homework. Nobody had to tell me to do homework or anything. I did what I had to do, and I think that is something I would like to other people to emulate. Do what you have to do and you will succeed. And I think I did pretty well. Well, I went to, as I said, I got a scholarship, went to Convent High School, and I did my 5 years. We did what is now called CXC, but it was called Senior Cambridge Exam. And I did very well. I got what they call the first grade, the first division. Then I went to what used to be sixth form, but what is now college. We had to spend 2 years there. I spent my 2 years and then sat the what was then high school certificate. I did well, I succeeded, and then I went to work. That's the first place I went to work, was the social center. After a few months, I went to teach at the convent, and then later I got a scholarship again to go to the Virgin Islands to study. The Virgin Islands had just opened their college, their now university, and they were looking for students to give them a post. So they were looking for bright quote-unquote students from the Caribbean, so from St. Lucia, from St. Kitts, Antigua, and so on. And they were giving scholarships. The first person to get one in Dominica was Lola Schillingford. She's now in Canada, and I was the second one. I got that scholarship. But then my life changed when I went to that university. I don't know if you want to continue the life or with the school. You tell me.
Let us talk about what changed your life, because I guess the rest of the education can fit in as we go along. Tell me, what was that major change that happened in your life?
I would like to introduce that by saying there are things that happen to you in life which at the time might seem to be really a tragedy in your life. A tragedy, not in a killing way, but
not in
that has a very
way.
Things that have an influence on your life, like in a negative way. When I happened to become pregnant while I was at university, after I told you I got that scholarship. So then I had my twin daughters.
And twins?
I had them in the VI in St. Thomas. That's where the campus was. No, I had done so well that the dean at the time told me that he would really like me to continue if I can get somebody to take care of the children and I can finish my education there. It was a two-year program at the VI, and then you get 2 years at a university either in the US or in Canada, university of your choice. All expenses paid. So having had the strain, I really had to stop. So the scholarship sort of went out. But the dean wanted me to come back, so I said, well, I will get my mom to take care of the children for me while I finish up. My mother did agree. And I came down, I brought the children down, they were 3 months old. The children were 3 months old. I brought them down, and my mother took them, and took, of course, the care that they got was even more than I could give.
My goodness.
And then I went back
After
to finish the thing.
you left 3 months,
No.
3 month twins with your mom.
Yes, but my sister was there,
Okay.
and then my stepfather, and I said, we always had help.
Okay.
So that wasn't much of a big problem per se. And with my other aunts, they pitched in. So the children had 100% care.
Okay.
I had
Okay.
no fear. But then I got another scholarship to go back. Lo and behold,
Number 3.
here comes Stevie. Stevie, you listening? So, well, that really put a spoke in the wheel. I completed 5 terms out of the 6. But I couldn't continue because I had to have the baby.
Oh.
So I say, boy, home time, Dominical time, because I cannot stay in the VI. I'm on a student visa and kind of thing. So I took the decision to come back home. So then I had those 3 children. My mother arranged for accommodation, for meals, so everything, just paying for everything because I'm not working.
And I understand now why you said what you said about your mother.
Yes,
At the beginning of the program.
Child, I don't know what to say now, but anyway, it was hard because I felt I let down everybody. I let down my family. My mother was so proud that I'd go there, and my sister, my cousin, everybody. I let down the dean who had gone out on a limb. I was teaching at the convent before, and I was expected to go back there to teach. I let down the school. I felt I had just let down everybody. But for some reason, I don't know what. Well, I have always been a kind of quote-unquote holy kind of person, and I put a lot of trust in God, in Jesus Christ, and especially in the Blessed Mother. And I'm telling you, these were my bedrocks at those difficult times. And when I came back down, I got a job with the government. A substitute job, $107. My rent was $50. So, and plus utilities plus that. So you know, no change, 107 because I was a substitute.
Oh my goodness.
No change. But anyway, again, my mother gave me 3 meals. She gave my children clothes. She gave me everything. My sister pitched in. My aunt, everybody pitched in.
Family support.
Family pitched in, and we were very comfortable, made to feel at home and things. But I still had deep down that feeling of having let down. People are not completing that degree. You know.
I hope you would have fixed that along the way.
Well, I did, and that is what the inspiration I would like to give to people, not to give up, and don't let downturns in your life prevent you from getting up and going again, because that is what actually happened. I spent all my years, and it was not until 20 how many years after I got to complete that degree. My children were grown up, they had gone away and everything. When I got another scholarship, praise God, with the government of the day, I got to go to Canada to do, and that I got to do, not bachelor's, because of my credits that I'd had.
Your experience.
Plus, I had to do 1 year before I could get into the graduate program. So I got a 3-year scholarship from the Canadian government to do a master's, which I at which I was successful. I did pretty well there.
So you redeemed yourself.
So I redeemed, and I redeemed more for my mother and for the people I thought that I had laid down. I say one way or the other, I must complete a degree. I didn't look at masters, I looked at bachelor's. But God, He loves me so much. I did a master's, and that helped me a lot. It helped me in getting promotion.
This is quite admirable.
Yeah, but
Very. I can only imagine what you would have gone through at that time in terms of feeling that you had disappointed your family, you had let down people, those who had high hopes for you, you know, like you would say.
Exactly.
And there it is, you know, you've got the opportunity from the dean, you know, to come back, and voila, you know, you're busy.
I'm busy, too busy. Too busy, and I'm telling people to not to be too busy.
Not to be too
because
busy.
It's not easy to have so many babies at the same time. They're all babies, you know. But again, another thing I'd like to tell people: don't be afraid to accept help.
Don't be afraid to ask for it.
Ask for help or to accept help. Some people, they can ask for the help, but there are more people that do not accept help. They feel too proud to do it, and so on. But I thank God that I was able to do that, because otherwise, as I said, I'd be dead, you know. And I mean real dead, not figuratively. You know, there were lots of things that happened along the way that could have caused me to have been an RIP at this point. But all of us, we have a destiny. And I believe in the fact, well, not a fact, I believe in, let's say, a theory that everything in your life is linked. And something which you think might be bad at the time can end up to be a benefit to you. Because the years I did at that place at the University of the Virgin Islands helped me when it was time to do my master's. Having the children in the Virgin Islands, they were automatically American citizens.
Right.
So when they got older and it was time for them to go and study, it was easy for them to get into the American system. Well, whatever we think is going on now. But at the time, it was really the first and best economy. And they were able to settle there and do reasonably well. So all that pain and anguish and all that, there was a reason for it. And I think that I am led by the Spirit to do certain things in life, and then
I'm happy and that you are here today to share this story with us, because one of the things we love about this program is that, you know, people come here and they tell real life stories that other people can relate to, and others who are probably at the time going through something that you went through back then, but then because you can share so openly and so honestly with us, you know, that somebody could be listening tonight and be saying, there's hope, you know, I can get out of whatever it is that I am. It's temporary. You know, and I think you've shared that with us this evening, and we're very appreciative of that. Yes, we're going to get a bit into Jennifer White, the public servant, and I want to read something from a book, Women in Parliament in Dominica, Past and Present, by Alex Boyd Knight and Dr. Lennox Honeychurch. At the time he wasn't Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, but he is now.
Yes.
And I'm going to read a bit of it, and then you'll share with us what transpired during this time. So it reads, Jennifer White served as clerk of the House from Dominica from December 1978 to July 1982. She was a student of the Convent High School, we know that so far, having done her primary education at St. Martin's School. She entered the public service in August 1967, and like others who served the Parliament, she benefited from the experience of working in a variety of positions, prior to taking up duties at the house, and she'll share some of those with us as well. Although she was clerk for only 4 years, and listen folks, listen closely, it was a crucial period in Dominica's parliamentary history, as she was the first clerk to be appointed after independence and the adoption of a new constitution. This transformed the composition of the House of Assembly, with senators appointed to sit with elected members in a single chamber. She was clerk in attendance at the traumatic meeting of the House on 29th May 1979 and had to deal with the legislative fallout of that bloody day when a large protest demonstration fired on the Dominica Defense Force. 13 people were injured and 1 man killed. The inauguration of a restructured parliament and government in June of 1979 and the further change of government after the general elections of July 1980 all occurred during her term of service. Mrs. White did an attachment to the House of Commons in Westminster in the UK in 1980, in the course of which she acquainted herself with the machinery of Parliament and studied its forms and procedures, at the end of which she was awarded the Certificate for Commonwealth Clerks. Whereas most other clerks of the House have remained in the position until retirement, Mrs. White moved on in the public service, becoming Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Chief Personnel Officer, and acting as Cabinet Secretary. She gained a diploma in public administration with honors at UWI in Jamaica and did a Master of Arts degree in public administration at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. Now, I read this because I know some of this is in your bio and your information, and many persons probably know this, but I'm particularly interested in the middle part, where you served for 4 years at a crucial period in Dominica's parliamentary history. Tell us, go back, I'm going to send you back down memory lane, and tell us what that experience was like.
It was a very difficult period for Dominica on a whole, because as you have read, several changes were taking place at the same time, and in my position I had to deal with lots of it. But that bloody day, it was really difficult for me because I was a member of the Public Service Union, at that time the CSC, Civil Service Association, and they had taken a decision as to strike and so on. But then I was in what they call a management position, and so I had to take a decision as to whether I should go to work or not. So I consulted with my then boss at the time. I told him I really don't know what I should do. Should I go to work or not? So he said to me, I am sorry, but I cannot help you. The decision is yours.
Oh my goodness. No help there.
No help. No help. But I got help from above. And I decided to go to work. Because somebody had to do what I had to do, and the bill could have been passed or not passed, and another decision could have been taken. So I said, well, I will go to work. I did go, but it was in fear and trepidation.
Of course.
Because I saw the crowd outside and whatnot. In fact, I passed in the back door.
I was just about to ask you how
I
you
didn't
got
pass
in.
at the front. The back door was opened for me, the back gate rather. And I went up. We were on the 4th floor of government headquarters. That's where the House of Assembly was. And my seat was between the two heads, between the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister.
Oh my goodness.
So I said to myself, if anything else to come, I'm right in the train. I will get some.
You would.
So it was, I was but anyway, I had my work to do, and I steadied myself, and I did what I had to do, give my papers, and I ran the thing as I was supposed to do, give the speaker the assistance that was required as part of my job, and we got through the day. But there was that time when we heard the bullets flying about, gunshots. Even some of the stones that were thrown from downstairs broke glass on that very fourth floor where we were at. But it's not on our side, but they could have come around too, because it was a possibility. But anyway, the defense force was there, and I guess they didn't want to get in conflict with the defense.
You're brave.
But anyway, I went through the day, but not happy at all. I did my work, and in the end, the bills were passed, and I had to do my job. I think it's my signature that's on them, because there's the clerk that has to sign and everything. I did what I had to do, but it was with a heavy heart, because I was not comfortable with what was going on, and nobody else was comfortable, and I was not feeling safe
Of course.
at the time. But anyway.
So what would have happened at the end of the proceedings for the day? Because
Did you get home? Went through. I went home. Yes. At the end of the day.
Did you have to be taken home?
No, not really. I passed back in the same back door, and I went home. I wasn't. Nobody bothered me or anything. I don't. Some people didn't even know me for that matter. So I did what I had to do and went home.
In spite of the fear and concerns for that time, how does it feel to be part of that element of Dominica's history?
Well, the only thing is not an admirable part.
No.
So I don't feel proud to be part of it in that way. But I'm proud that I went to work and did what I had to do and accomplished what I had to do. And then later on, when I was supposed to assist with the new government, I did what I had to do, and so we had how many prime ministers at that time? Well, we had Mr. John, then we had Mr. Seraphine. Well, we had the Committee for National Salvation I had to deal with. Then we had Mr. Seraphine, and then later on we had the Miss Charles under the Freedom Party. So that whole period there, I had to deal with all these heads and made sure that I did my job as a clerk of parliament, and I did it willingly, and I think I did what I had to do at the time. And the fact that I stayed there for that short period, as I said, people have their destiny. I stayed there from the time of the conflict till the end. Then
it was meant for you to be there.
Although the circumstances of my movement are questionable, but I'm happy that it happened, because that was my first step on my, what I would call a successful career in the public office.
You think somebody...
I'm not saying
I have to try, Miss.
Well, you can try, but the thing is, I am an old public officer, and I took my oath that I was not going to disclose any matters pertaining to my job to anyone at any time, not to my mother, not to my father, not to my nobody. But it remains. And I have never done it. And I stick to my oath, although I'm not in the service anymore.
But it remains questionable.
So it was questionable. But it worked out in the end. It worked out in the end. It was my first step on a very successful journey.
Let us talk about your journey through the public service. Just highlight some of the key areas for us.
Well, well, the Clerk of the House was my first major management job. And if you would call, Assistant Secretary was a relatively high position as well. So I was Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture. I was appointed there. And later on, I acted in how, I think you have the list of the different, almost every ministry
I do.
I acted, and eventually I was appointed as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, and then 3 years later I was appointed Chief Personnel Officer in the Prime Minister's office, and I retired in 2000.
So that was your last
That was
role.
my last thing was when the new government, when Pierre Charles' government came in. I worked for a few months with them, and then I retired, early retirement.
Okay.
I retired, and then, but I still maintain links with the public service. In fact, one of the first things that I did on retirement was to be part of a training course for parliamentarians, the Pierre Charles group.
Excellent.
The present Prime Minister was part of that training program as well. I guess that's why he's doing so well now.
I like that.
Anyway, that's a little aside. But
yes.
and I understand that they're going to have a training course soon for the current ones, and I'm happy about that because you know it helps to have a good debate and clean parliament. So I'm happy that that is going to happen. 33
years in total.
Yes.
As a public servant. How would you describe this?
Oh, it was a good journey, a few ups and downs, as I said. Because of my oath, there are certain things I cannot disclose. But I had some very good bosses along the way. When I say bosses, PSCs and people who were in senior position. And I would like to kind of mention at least one, and that is Mr. Robin, who was my boss in the audit department. I was a senior clerk in the audit department. And I had, because my daughters went to St. Martin's School, and it was a little distance walking distance from home. So I asked him for permission to go for lunch at 12, so that I pick up the children, take them, they have their lunch, and I'll come back at 1. And he allowed me to do that for a year or two. But I made up the hour, I made up for the time. And so that was a good,
that was important to you.
And furthermore, while I was at the audit as well, the Convent High School needed a singing teacher. And they asked me to do it. So I asked him whether I had to go 2 afternoons a week to teach first form and second form singing. And he allowed me to go, and I made up for the time, the hours that I went, I made up for the time. So he allowed me to do that, and I am ever so grateful to him. He's passed now, but his children are there, so they can take the kudos from him.
He's somewhere in heaven hearing you.
And I try to be a good boss too in my time, because remembering what this man did for me, I tried my best along the way
to be accommodating,
to empathize with people when they found themselves in certain situations, and I thank God for that. That is a blessing. It's not me, it's through me. I'm an agent, and I think that God works through people, and I'm happy for that I was able to do that.
Our time is creeping up on us a bit. It's 14 minutes to the 10 o'clock hour. Let us talk about some of the things that you currently involved in. So you've retired. What have you been up to since retirement? And I want you to tell me a little bit about Sifle Mutai and some of the other things you've been involved with. Yes. Why not?
Well, I currently I am involved in the St. Alphonsus Catholic Church Choir. I used to be the director manager, but I gave up just about a year or so ago. We have a very good person in charge now. So I am still a member, but no longer the manager. I'm also part of a Good Times Choir.
Good Times?
That's a group of us who get together at Christmas time to sing and to have a lot of fun. I am also part of the Vibrant Senior Citizens of Dominica. That's a group which I think was initiated by Ophelia, but our present president is Annette Bates. And I tell you, that group is like the name, Vibrant. We do all kinds of things. We go to church, we go to the beach, we go out on tours, you name it. They are, and that group of people, they are nice to each other, kind to each other, polite. You know, it's just a great group. Well, you know, Ophelia, you know, she's, by her very nature, she kind of conveys that kind of feeling that we need to have, that of togetherness. Ophelia, thank you very much, and Annette. So I'm part of that group. I also am part of an organization called DADA. That's an organization headquartered in New York, which was formed after Hurricane David to assist people.
Hurricane David?
David, in 79.
Wow.
To assist people with, at first it was housing and so on, but now what they do is give scholarships to deserving people. So we have a chapter here. It is led by Kathleen Trotter, and I am part of that group. I'm also honorary house mother of the St. Josephine Bakita House of the Convent High School.
Nice.
And well, whenever they have activities, I try to participate. What else? Well, that's about it.
That's about it in terms of how you're keeping busy
yes,
right now.
I still get requests to be on ad hoc committees. In fact, I was supposed to have been on 2 committees this year, but COVID spoiled the show. So that didn't take place. So I am busy. Having fun.
You're having fun, right. And that's important.
And especially I get to visit my children, and they get to visit me, and the rest of my family. Yes. In fact, it's been 10 years since I spent my birthday here. COVID that caused that.
COVID that caused that. That's why I made up for it tonight. And of course, even in terms of what you're currently involved in, there's so much you've been involved in, so much you've done. I mean, over the years, Carnival Organizing Committee, Chairperson of OECS Friendship Committee, Dominica JC's National Chorale, President Charities Foundation, Public Service Commission, Deputy Chairperson, National Emblems Committee, Education Subcommittee of the Trafalgar. The list goes on and on and on and on. But what I would like to talk about now is some of the awards you've received. And you've received, and I think very well deserving, all the awards that you've received, I think, are very, very well deserving. And if you don't mind sharing some of them with us. You wish me to do so?
Well, okay, I have a record of it here, so I can just quickly run through. Recognition received, I have it from 1986. I received a citation from Partners of the Americas for outstanding service.
Awesome.
That's an organization that we had a partnership with a group in New York, and I was the president at the time. I received an award for tidy surroundings from my Trafalgar Village Council. I also received a plaque from the government of Dominica for outstanding service. The Social Center gave me a plaque for professional work. I received a trophy from the Sixth Form Cicero Singers, the honoree for 2007. Thank you, Pearl and my Ciceros. I also received the Golden Drum Award from the National Cultural Council for contribution and promotion of choral music, and the Cicero Award of Honor, which is the second highest award in Dominica. I received that in 2009. I also received a plaque from the community of Goodwill for my contribution to public service. So these are
some of the awards.
Some.
of those
So,
because you've
yes.
also received quite a few other group recognitions that that are also listed here, but clearly, you know, and certificates of appreciation. Clearly, how do I even describe you? You know, I see all kinds of words being used to describe you here by Pearl and your children and everybody who is actually viewing and listening to the program. I think you're a great Dominican.
Oh my
In my
goodness.
view, I think you're a great
I
Dominican.
think I did.
You have made an invaluable contribution. I don't think we can put a value to the contribution that you have made to your country, to your people.
Well, I think I call it blessing. You call it great. I call it blessing because I have always been close to my God and my faith and my church and things like that. So I think it is through grace alone. Like St. Paul says, I can't remember the exact thing he said, but everything you do, he did, was by grace. And I am convinced of that. Because I had ups, I had downs, but I never stayed down. I was always picked up, and there was always somebody there for me. In fact, even today, I get a call every morning from one of my best friends, Marina Daisy. I have to call her name tonight, so that she can know that I'm alive and well. Every morning, she calls me to make sure that I am okay. I mean, what more can you ask for? You know, my children, I'm in touch with them. They're in touch well. This is just great. My rest of my family. In fact, at last count, we had about 50 members of my family in North America. So, and we are all close, which is not usual. We are all very close, even if we have a little difficult difference here and there, but we are all there for each other. So that is a blessing too. I have friends here on whom I can depend.
That's so important.
I just have to say, I don't have to say, but sometimes they see the problem or they see the need, let's see, even before I do. And they are there. So life has been good.
In spite of the ups and downs.
I had fewer downs, let's say. And as I told you, most of the downs turned into ups eventually. That's why I will say again that I believe in destiny. God has a plan for you, and you are in a place where you're supposed to be at the time. And after that, you move on. You are in a place, other people take over when you move. But you have, where you are, you have to do your best. The saying is, bloom where you're planted. And I think that was what happened to me. Whatever was thrown at me, I was able to deal with it and to move on. Even when I got seriously ill.
I was just about to actually ask you, how's your health?
I mean, I still have my issues, but I am stable. I do most of the time. I do what the doctor tell me to do. And I have my family support. They try to ensure that I do what I have to do. But it's not that bad. I can live with it. I can get on with my life with the support of, as I said, family and friends. So life is good. And maybe my last thing I want to say to people is, don't give up. And whatever happens to you in life, there is a purpose. And treat people as you'd like to be treated. And be grateful. My friends, they laugh at me when I tell them, I don't mind a person who is a thief, who is a murderer, who is anything. But an ungrateful person, I cannot stand.
Ooh.
So, be thankful. Thank your God. Thank your friends. Thank those who know you. Thank those who don't know you. But be grateful. That is one of my mantras, so to speak.
Good stuff. I suspect one or two people may have wanted me to take some calls, and I intended to, but the time will take a few calls quickly. Can you put on your headphones? I see your daughter was calling me on my messenger, so I suspect she probably wants to call into the program. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we have one person who is on the line. Let's see if we can take this call. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hey, Papa. Oi, Papa.
Go ahead, caller. We don't have much time.
Go ahead, caller.
She has already recognized the voice.
I recognize it too.
Okay.
First time, this is a Dominican gem. You know, Jennifer has contributed so much, of course. She has spoken a lot about it tonight. You know, and I don't think there's anybody who knows Jennifer who can say anything bad about that baby. You know, she's a real good example. You know, she's just a good honorable tonight.
All right, let's try to keep it a little brief. So, is that it from you?
Of course, like all of our friends, you know, she's going to have a very, 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 very good business.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. The overseas line, if you want to call, and I suspect that's what you want to know quickly for those who are overseas, especially your children, if they would like to call us in quickly, 305-432-9624. It's 305-432-9624. They're coming in. Good evening.
Good evening, Alfred.
Yes, I know you. Yes, Pamela.
Tell me, don't give up, don't give up. One day you will receive your reward. So happy birthday.
Oh,
I had a
thanks.
bitch and I was around you in that food. And I'm around you in good way.
Yes. Thanks for being such.
To Canali.
Mm-hmm.
And that food to Uncle Berry Street. So I was around you around that time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, the local numbers are 4493095, 4493096, 4493097. The overseas line again is 305-432-9624. Good evening. Hello, good evening. Yes, go ahead, please. Hello. Okay, we'll have to take this one. Good evening. Hi, good evening.
My name is Deborah Gage. I am calling. I am Jennifer's cousin. She's my mentor. And I'm calling to wish a happy birthday from Justin and myself in Canada.
Thanks, Debbie.
And thank you so much for being so good to her.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much. She clearly understands what it means to be short. Thank you. Good evening.
Hello, I want to be short too.
Yes, go ahead.
Call for all the vibrants that can of course. Really very pleased to be hearing you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much indeed, my vibrant sister.
Oh, anytime I ask her to do something and she says, oh, she came to relax. We love you, girl.
Thank you.
Let's take this one. Good evening. Hello?
Line, please.
Your daughter?
Oh, hi. What's up, mommy? Little girl. Go ahead, Zoe.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good
So,
evening. Hi, Mom.
hi, sweetie.
Hi, Mom. I love you. Thank you so much. Yeah. First, I'm so proud of you, Mom. Thanks for sharing your story with all of us. We're so inspired. I love you, Mom. Sure, and thank you, everyone in Dominica, for your generosity.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Lezo. One of the twins.
One of the twins.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
Okay, good evening.
I've been listening to my story and
so much, Jerry. You're so good to me too. Thanks, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I see Lisa has been trying to call me, but I'm not able to communicate with you by doing the program, so I hope you can call the line. Good evening. I hope this is Lisa. All right. Okay, your daughter is on.
Listen. Yes, I know that. Okay.
Hello, don't listen to the radio, talk to us.
Lisa, you can go ahead. Hello? Hello, Lisa, I can hear you. Thank you, I can hear you. But something is wrong. Like, so I'm waiting for you all. I'm waiting for all of you. Thanks, Lisa.
I learned so much tonight about you. I'm so proud to be your daughter. I can tell you I've been cheered. You look good.
Thank you, my dear.
To the eternity and beyond.
And I love you too, the same way, all my children.
Thank you, Lisa. All right. I think Lisa will be the last call for tonight as we're getting ready to wrap things up here on the In the Spotlight radio show. What a beautiful program tonight. So much inspiration coming from you, Jennifer White. Even your own children saying they're inspired by you here tonight. I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell me, first of all, what's still to come for Jennifer White. By God's grace.
By God's grace, I will contribute whatever I can while I can, because I still have all my faculties. So wherever I'm called upon to assist, and it's not too taxing, I will do so. I will also maintain my links with my family and relatives and acquaintances wherever possible, and I will enjoy life. I will do the things that I like to do. I like to read, I like to go out, I like to listen to programs, I like to continue to learn. I'm trying to get as much of being tech savvy as possible, although I'm having a hard time. But I'll continue to learn as long as I can. And I just hope that the people who are with me will stay with me, continue to support me, and to ensure that I enjoy the rest of whatever is there for me. I mean, 75 is a good pull.
It is, huh? And you look good.
It's really a blessing to reach that age, and I am proud and happy. But we have to face the reality. It's the downward journey. So I would like to maintain my faith, maintain a good quality of life. And as I say, wherever I can help, do so.
You gave some really good advice throughout the program this evening. What is the final word you would like to leave with us?
Well, I said several things, but one of the things I would like people to realize is that things will happen to you. You will have downs. You'll have ups, but as long as you're on earth, there will be trials, there will be temptations, there will be challenges. But try to look on the positive side, because eventually it turns out to be okay. Life goes on. You fall, you get up, you fall, you get up. But all in between that, try to enjoy the moment. Enjoy the blessings that you have. According to this, count your blessings. And try to live in harmony with yourself, first of all, and then with others. So that would be my 8 for the night.
That would be your 8 for the night. And I want to thank you a million times over for being here and for sharing so much with us, as I said earlier on, so honestly. And I think that I speak on behalf of all the guests to say that this was a beautiful program tonight and you represented well. And I think we're still looking to see more from you in the future. You know, it may be it may be during a course you may be doing, anything it may be, but I know you're not done yet.
I would like to thank you for having asked me, or was it, as you said, you had to get a chalet first.
Yes, I got to the chalet first.
But I am happy.
But the chalet didn't stop me from asking for what I wanted.
But I am happy that I was able to be here, and I hope, as you said, people get something good out of it.
They did, I'm sure.
Although it's my story, it's not about me, it's about what I can contribute. And I hope that, in fact, people did listen and they get motivated to do more and to be better people. So thank you so much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wrap on the In the Spotlight radio show for tonight. Again, my usual thanks to Q95 FM for giving me this platform to host this program every Monday night here once I am able. And Mrs. Whitechester has one last thing.
Yes, I have to thank again the people who gave me such beautiful gifts.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll try to get to you.
You're very deserving of all of it, as I said. All right. Thank you so much again to Body Bliss Spa, to Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, to Deepex, to Grace by Ash, and to mention here again that someone, my friend, my good friend, my buddy, my pal, maybe my family too, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, somebody who contributed towards this charcuterie box. And thank you to Grace by Ash as well for saying, okay, I will give 100% more on this gift and contributing to lovely things. Thank you, Lee. Thank you to Karim Geist and Atlantic Farms, and to Dexter and Prime Wagon. Thank you, everybody. I will try my best to give you some more mileage on my page, so people can get some more information about you if they need any of your products. In fact, somebody already saw the box earlier on this evening and told me that's going to be a gift for someone special whose birthday is coming up. So there you go. I'll be sending them the information so that they can order their box. We'll be here next week, God willing, next week Monday for another program. Thank you again to all the listeners, all the viewers, and everyone who supported me in making this birthday a special one. She'll remember it, that's for sure. She'll remember it. Until next time, on behalf of Jennifer White, good evening, everyone. Good night, we should say at this time. And sleep well. We'll meet again next week, Monday.
Thank you for listening to In the